All right, remember, the machine knows if you're lying. First statement, Carvana will give you a real offer on your car all online.
False.
True, actually. You can sell your car in minutes.
False? That's gotta be...
True again. Carvana will pick up your car from your door, or you can drop it off at one of their car vending machines.
Sounds too good to be true, so true.
Finally caught on. Nice job. Honesty isn't just their policy, it's their entire model. Sell your car today, too.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Welcome to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while blushing at all this fantastic kink.
Stack our shelves with the clinches out. Shout it from the rooftop, can you hear the sound? Yeah. Live your best life, love it out loud. Love it out loud.
HBs, oh my god, this weekend I got to see some wonderful romance pals who I've met through the podcast, and I feel utterly rejuvenated. We talked romance, we commiserated about current events, we destroyed a truly insane amount of seafood, and we cackled a ton. I don't know, it was another reminder of how amazing the romance community is, and the deep and abiding friendships that can be found here. I needed that reminder. All right, this week on Patreon and our Apple Podcast bonus feeds, I'm telling Sabrina all about the follow-up novella to this book we're going to talk about today, Not Your Shoe Size. It's 5 years after their HEA and goes places I actually wasn't expecting. You can sign up for Patreon over at patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. In addition to bonus episodes, you can get these episodes early, network ad-free, and in full on the same day, virtual events, and more. There are actually some excellent folks supporting us over on Patreon. And you've got some excellent peers supporting us here on Patreon. Hey pals, and thank you for being radiant little starfish. Brenda, Sarah P., Terry S., Lucky Irish Gal, Una, and Violet A. All right, today we've got a wonderful little contemporary for you. Here we go. We're jumping into Act Your Age by Eve Dangerfield. Oh, hello, Sabrina.
Oh, well, hello, my dearest friend, who I'm really bad at messaging about exciting things in my life, apparently. Listener, I got fussed earlier.
You did. Yep, I fussed them very hard. Mm-hmm. It wasn't too bad, though. You survived.
No, it wasn't bad at all. But we're not going to dive into it because that's actually my lady love for this week, and I have to save it for myself, because otherwise I'll be scrambling at the end, because I'll end up rambling now instead of later. And I'm planning ahead, listener.
Sabrina was very spontaneous, and it worked out.
Spontaneous? Me? Look at me.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I went to an event on a whim.
On a whim. Yeah.
Anyway.
And your outfit was boss. It was incredible. Anyway, that's for later, everybody, okay?
That's
we don't have
for
time
later.
for that right now.
We really don't, because I can easily see this. Hey, listener, you remember how we turned The Bride into 6 hours edited?
Uh-huh.
I could see us doing that with this book. We should probably...
I could probably see it.
We should probably, especially listener, because I found out right before we're recording. I thought we'd slightly been bamboozled. We didn't. This is a very, if I did not know there was a second book in the series, this is a fine ending to the series. That's it.
Yep.
Or to the book, whatever.
To the book, right.
And then I found out Melody did in fact read
There is a follow-up novella. Yeah,
it's
so
only
we're
a
doing
novella?
Act Your Age. Yes, that's why I read it. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, so we are doing Act Your Age by Eve Dangerfield.
Can I just acknowledge how hard that is to search? Because of Act Your Age, Eve Brown as a book title.
Yes,
And then Act
agreed.
Your Age, Eve Dangerfield as a book title and author name. Anyway.
Yeah, everybody was like, are you sure? I think you mean this. And I was like, no, love that book. Don't get me wrong. Not the book I'm looking for, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it follows up with Not Your Shoe Size. And I'm going to be honest with you, I still don't understand why it's called that. It's fine. Maybe I missed something. I don't think I did, but that's what it's called afterwards. And it's the same couple. It's follow-up 5 years later. So I can tell you about that at the end or on Patreon, Sabrina. It just depends on what we do here.
Fair. Okay, let's just jump right into it. Okay,
Let's go.
This is Act Your Age by Eve Dangerfield. It is a daddy...
Boy, it's a kinky joint, okay?
Like, age gap, older man, younger woman, workplace.
Daddy little girl dynamic.
I wouldn't call it DDLG. That's different. So this would be like, I'd say like...
That's exclusively how they kink.
Daddy little girl is a very, like that... This would be
Is
like
that a
daddy,
lifestyle thing?
That would be like daddy... This would be like daddy middle. It's not a little girl. She's not a kid. She's a teenager in these role plays. So it's like daddy middle.
Oh, I didn't realize there was like sub-genres of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's
Got
because it's different. There's a different flavor of taboo, but you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
But it was really interesting, the discussion of kink in this book. Also, the activity of the kink. It's a novel. I had to whimsy a lot in this book, both from a kink perspective and also from a roller derby perspective. I don't know if it's different in Australia.
Okay.
But I did not recognize this as roller derby. At least not the roller derby that I know. Granted, I played WFDA, which is Women's Flat Track Derby Association, and so it's...
Oh, yeah, this is obviously the incline one.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I didn't clock that, but it's just different flavors.
I think.
All I know is, like, I would have been ejected and possibly never been allowed to play again if they'd even thought I was going to elbow a woman in the face.
Totally. Yeah. No, they got real...
This is Whip It. This is Whip It roller derby.
Yeah. I mean, and that's exactly what Kate was going for, right? So, okay, look, we open up and we're in the hero's perspective. And he's fucking mad, all right? He's drunk and he's mad and he's bitter and he doesn't want to do this anymore because he's on a work trip and everybody else has like gone back to the hotel, but his one like thorn in his side employee, who is 25-year-old Kate McGrath, is drunk off her tits and currently groping and making out with a rugby. What?
Listener, so I don't drink because of ADHD meds, other medications and other reasons as well, but like a lot of it is ADHD related.
Sure.
I was fascinated by, one, Kate's experience with ADHD throughout the whole book. There were multiple moments where I was reading it and I went, is that ADHD related? Oh.
Have I been doing that my whole life because ADHD?
Yeah, that's what I was like, oh my God, fuck. So, like, there are a couple of those things, but then, like, that's a big thing is that you're alcohol tolerant. I've never played with it because I know I've been told, like, ADHD meds are really gonna fuck up your tolerance and your...
Yeah, don't fuck around because you will find out. And that is the stage. That's the stage that Kate is in right now. So...
continue.
Yeah, so he's standing at the bar being like, this goddamn employee, like I try to stay away from her as much as possible because she's just sex on legs, okay? She tries to be
voice
like...
and her perky tits.
Porn star voice, and she's got these hips on her. And he's like, I try to stay away from her, and I try to like not even engage unless I have to. And then also she tries to kind of neuter herself in the office by being like, I dress, what is that show? New Girl. She dresses like New Girl, and she's always like bringing baked goods to all the dudes. She's the only woman in the office of engineers. They're civil engineers.
And she is so deeply unsexual that this misogyny office doesn't blow her up with sexual harassment constantly, which is, you know what? I guess it works. Good for you, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's interesting because he talks about different strategies that he's seen other women employ. And it's not that she like tries to be one of the boys. It's not that, you know, she tries to like, you know, soup up the sexiness in order to use her feminine wiles in the office. It's this third thing where she's still a woman, but nobody looks at her as a sexual being because of her presentation of like banana skirts. And like at one point, she's literally wearing a skirt that has bananas all over it.
Yes.
So like she's an elementary school teacher at a civil engineer's office is how I pictured her.
Yeah, she's Miss Frizzle.
Quite. Yes. Yeah, she's a new girl.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's drunk. She's all over this rugby, and he's like this goddamn rugby boy over here. Like he's like 20. He's jacked and he's blah, and I hate him. But I also want to make sure that Kate's okay, i.e. not getting fucked by other men.
Yeah, well, and then he essentially gives up the ghost. He's like, it's time to go home. I am in trouble because I have pissed off the bar matron by not... he was a dick to her, listener. He was a real asshole to this bar matron.
Well, because he's 45 and he's like a surfer Australian boy. He's got blonde hair. He's also still jacked. Like, it's very clear in the book that he is the male version of sex on legs and what's the term? Conventionally attractive, right?
Yes. Yeah, he's movie star attractive. Like,
yes, exactly.
He's one of those 15 white men that you put in a lineup and you go...
Which one is that?
Are these all the same
Yep.
men?
Yep. Exactly.
Am I face blind? Like, they really put it to the test with some of those leading actors.
Yeah, agreed. So then he overhears Rugby Boy's teammates being like, oh yeah, he's going to do that thing where he's going to leave his webcam open if he takes her back to the dorm and we're all going to watch this live porn show.
Why has it never occurred to me that, like, do people do that?
I don't know. And now I'm really thinking back on my life and my choices.
Oh, yeah, same. Because, like, I was a little hoe for a hot minute. And, like, no judgment on being a hoe. I loved being a hoe. Super fun. But, like, now I'm like, is there?
I mean, one thing I will say about myself is that I was too lazy to go to their house, you know? Like, I'm not doing the walk of shame. You're going to do the walk of shame. You want all this?
To your house?
I did. Yeah. It's like the dumbest thing in the whole wide world.
Incredible.
But I was like, I'm not doing
both.
an awkward morning in somebody else's space. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to a second location that I'm not familiar with. I'm not doing it. If you want this, you're going to have to follow me to my place. Thank you so much.
Come with me.
Yeah,
and
right.
you'll be in my domain where I can tell you to get out.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's wild to me. That is legitimately wild to me.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there are pros and cons on both sides, but I will say that one of them is I was in charge of any webcam in the vicinity, so that's nice.
Well, because, like, it never even, I don't know, like, it didn't cross my mind that somebody might do that.
No, and so he's like, this is my perfect excuse to get her away from this hot young dude. Excellent. I'm saving her at this point. I'm doing her a solid.
I'm gonna white knight this bitch.
That's exactly
Except
it.
he's also not. He's so annoyed about this. He's like, I shouldn't be doing this. I should just leave it, but, like, I can't do it because she's so young
do that
and
to
innocent
Middleton.
and sweet.
The whole office calls her Middleton because of Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cranberry or whatever. I don't know which one she is. And yeah, because apparently she looks exactly like Kate Middleton but in a banana skirt, you know?
But in a banana skirt.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so he walks over and he's like, all right, Middleton, time to go. And she's like, what? Have you met Rugby Boy? Oh, Rugby Boy's so nice.
Oh
like,
my God.
Look at his pecs.
I felt uncomfortably
Same here.
by Kate at this scene where she was like, this is my new best friend. Like, wait, hang on. Let me Google this thing. I need you to understand this thingy, madame. And like just completely oblivious. My friends used to, when we would be like down, I'm not shy about complimenting a human being.
Sure.
So whether I'm sober or some flavor of intoxicated. And it used to be, we would be walking downtown and my friends, if I was a certain level of drunk, my friends would make sure that I was in the middle of the group because there's nothing they could do to stop me from as I walked past. I'd be like, just the most random, oh my God, I love your skirt. That shirt is so cool. Oh, and like, so then it would end up with, I'd end up with like
off on the...
I wouldn't peel off. It'd be like in passing, and then like people would be especially it was always men. They're like, oh yeah, baby, like what's up? And like they'd start to like come with us, like they'd like attach her, and my friends would be like, multiple times my friends be like, she doesn't want to fuck you.
This is not an invitation.
Get away. And I was like, man, I love you. I'd find out the next day. They'd be like,
it's just exuberance.
You almost ended up with a bunch of hangers on. And I'm like, thanks for saving me. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. So Rugby Boy's pretty upset about this, but then he makes it clear that he knows about impromptu porn plans. And like, I will tell Kate if you make me. Meanwhile, Kate's standing right there, but she's Googling pictures of Kate Middleton so that she can show Rugby Boy why she has the office nickname she has. And then she falls down. It's all very relatable. Okay, everybody? And then, so he's like, all right, we're done here. And he ends up fireman carrying her all the way back to the hotel. Meanwhile, she's like doing little finger walkies on his back.
I will say the only reason that this isn't a deeply relatable moment is because nobody could fireman carry me.
Big lady?
Yeah. Like I would just not
I'm
be
a
fireman
robust
carried.
specimen.
Robust specimen. Yeah, no, like that's the only reason this is not relatable.
Yep. So she's like, hey, Mr. Henderson. She always calls him Mr. Henderson, and he kind of hates it, but also loves it.
He's like, don't give me respect that makes it clear I'm your elder and your boss.
Right. Yeah, but also it's sexy because he really, really likes that as well. And he needs to keep her neutered. It's like really tough for him. So she's like, Mr. Henderson, I don't understand why you're doing this. You hate me. Do you remember that? Do you remember that you hate my whole face?
He's like, I don't.
And he's like,
God,
no comment. He's just.
I love that you've made him British.
Right?
All of your little snippets, you're like, I'm not even going to fuck with an Australian accent, so this man is British henceforth.
No. Yeah. I mean, who knows? So he could be Irish by the end of this. You know what I mean? I haven't committed to anything.
Oh, so, you don't think you're going to end up in a Colonel Sam situation?
God, I hope not.
007 Hades
needs to just live in her world. Just don't bother her, anybody.
Fair.
Leave her alone.
Fair. Okay, so he gets her back, and he can't, like, he's not going to go digging around in her clothes for her key. She is asleep. She is passed out.
He falls asleep on his shoulder.
Hey, Middleton. And she is honk-shoeing.
Yeah.
Hardcore. And he's like, well, obviously, the only solution here
There's one solution.
is to bring her back to my room.
Yeah, obviously.
So he takes her up to his room and he plops her on the couch. She's fully in REM already, so she's passed out, and he's like, I guess it would be the more gentlemanly thing to give her the bed, but I'm not gonna do that.
I'm 45 years old, and that's a hotel couch. Okay.
Especially because this man is clearly tall.
Yeah.
I also would not sleep. I'm doing you a favor, my friend.
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking the couch or the bed.
Absolutely.
I don't fit on
And-
those couches.
And I wouldn't begrudge him that either. Finding out in
not
the
at all.
morning that my springy 25-year-old joints had to be on the couch all night in my teeny tiny little lady body. You know, I totally easily fit on the couch, and I've got the joints of a 25-year-old.
Yeah, and
we're all good.
As we're about to launch into the next scene, Melody, I do have a quick question for you. How do you feel about a baseball bat-sized penis? Like, where is that on your list of TPV, DPV? Like,
Golly.
would you rather one single baseball bat-sized penis or two average penises in your vagina?
I'm saying a hard no to all of it. I'm so sorry. Like, this is a situation where there are sometimes in life where things are, it's too much of a good thing, okay? Like,
Okay, listener.
there was that moment in Sex and the City where even Samantha was like, oh God, I can't fuck that. Like, that really, truly is too big for penetration of any kind.
I have only seen one episode of Sex and the City in my entire life, and it is the one that ends with her holding a mirror up to her vagina to see what it looks like. And I just remember that scene so vividly of her being like, like, oh my God, what? Oh, that, okay. And I just,
Is
it
that
stuck with
Charlotte or
me.
Carrie? Is she blonde and curly
I have no
haired?
idea.
Or
I don't care. I was more focused on
brown haired?
the mirror aspect of things. I don't remember.
Oh.
It's just so interesting because I just think of that scene every single time somebody mentions Sex in the City. Because as far as and I don't even think it was the entire episode. I think it was literally like I walked in to my friend's house and there was like 10 minutes left on. And then that scene happened and I was like, what the fuck are you watching?
A woman discover herself, okay? A woman on the early journey of worshiping her yoni, all right, Sabrina? Like, you can sit the fuck down.
I did.
Anyway.
I was sat. I was watching.
No,
I was like, all
totally.
right, girl, get that mirror.
Totally. So Kate wakes up on this couch and she's like, oh my God, where am I though? What happened? What series of decisions led me here?
Melody, I might be a dirty, filthy, sexual deviant when I'm drunk. But I
Okay.
will say that I've never woken up in somebody else's home, crawled onto the bed, and then immediately been like, I'm going to put that Jen in my mouth.
Yeah.
Bold move.
Yeah, no,
Horrifying.
Kate
Horrifying
is
move.
a study in contradictions for sure, because she's very timid in some ways, can't stand up for herself, like doesn't want to bother anybody, but then will at 3 a.m. just like crawl in and be like, what that dick do? Let me put it in my hand and then I'll put it in my mouth without you really seeming super excited about it. Like, like she thinks to herself, I will talk Rugby Boy into it with my mouth. And then she does.
This is when we are introduced to our third character in this book, which is Baseball Bat-Sized Penis.
Yikes.
And she is like
hard pass
leans up on
this
the back
one.
of this man and is like touching up on him. She is under the impression that this is Rugby Boy. That is his name as far as she's aware and concerned.
Yeah.
And then she gets
And he tries to be like, no, we can't. Like, he's like, ugh. And she's like, yeah, though. And he's like, oh. And then finally he just like, he puts his hand in her hair and grabs her hair and says, fuck it. And then she starts going down on him for real. And so this was wonderful and hilarious to me because in her mind, listener, she's woken up in her hotel room and Rugby Boy put her down on the couch and then took her bed in her hotel room.
No, she felt bad that she was too drunk for them to finish the thing. Oh, yeah. But that's why she's on this. She's like, you take the bed, I'll take the couch. She's done something nice for him. And now she's going to make up for the fact that he took care of her drunk ass by going down on him in the middle of the night?
Yeah. I mean, great idea.
Okay.
Sure.
This is the world that she's living in. That's fine. She's living her...
This is Kate's rules.
She's living
All right.
a life. And then I was cackling so hard because he's like, say my name.
Yeah, he starts like dirty talking her, and she thinks to herself like, oh my God, have I found like my personal unicorn in a 20-year-old who lives in, you know, BFE Australia.
Yeah.
They're on a trip somewhere. And she's like, oh my God, I have not been able to find like the perfect alpha dominant, like naturally does exactly what I need them to do guy, except for this rugby 20-year-old.
Baby girl, you are so young.
I know, right?
You are so young.
This is like the third person she's slept with, and she's never come with another person.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, I get it, because what she's looking for, I can identify, like, I can relate to her in that you're not, there is a scene at the end that I'm going to read the quote from Maria that is so fucking accurate about how, like, this isn't something you can look for.
Right.
What she's looking for, you can't, like, actively search for. It is going to be, it just, like, this person shows up in your life.
Yeah, you have to stumble upon them, for sure.
And she's like, this is it, but it's so funny because he's like, tell me, say my name. And she starts going through her, she's like, well, Steve's a really common name.
Yeah. Should I call him Sean?
I feel like a rugby boy from like, what? Like, I think that it would be this. And then she's like, you know what? Fuck it. And she goes for it.
She says, it's a one-night stand. I never have to see him again if this goes badly. So she calls him the one thing she's always wanted to call a sexual partner.
And she calls him Daddy. Of note, I thought it was interesting because this is the moment where I went and looked up when this book came out.
Okay,
because in the current zeitgeist, I don't think that this would be that shocking for somebody to say. Like, it's just a part of the zeitgeist now for like, daddy. That's a thing. This book came out in 2016. It was not, the term daddy was not having the same movement on social media.
It wasn't like the
currently
cusp of it, I would say.
I would too. Yeah. It's kind of like how Good Girl. Good Girl used to be a huge thing. And now it's like, everyone says Good Girl at this point.
It's normal
like
stuff.
That, yeah, that's just normal stuff. But she says Daddy, and he freezes.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, I fucked up.
And she's like, do I apologize? Do I go down on him more and be like, we can just move on?
And
then he says, say it again. Ugh. And so she tries to be like, I love sucking your cock, because that was the thing. She was supposed to say, I love sucking your cock, name. Insert name here.
Yes.
And so she tries to just like real skate over the daddy part. And he's like, no, say what you called me again. And she goes, I love sucking your cock, daddy. And he's like, ugh! And he makes like this big groan noise as if all of his dreams are fucking coming true.
Because they are.
They are.
So I don't remember when exactly we get this, but that's his kink. His kink is like, he's a sadist and he wants to be called daddy, but because he's 40, like, and this was such another good note, is like, because of his age, what the fuck is kink world? This book's version of FetLife, right? Like, she's gonna have to stumble across what she's looking for, but she's gonna end up when in her hunt, she will find fake daddy doms, right?
Yes.
Like, that is a thing, but she's on FetLife basically. But he doesn't even know that kink world exists, which, what a funny fucking kink world. I was giggling. I loved it. But anyway,
it's great.
Like, he doesn't even know that exists.
Yeah.
And then when he was younger, we hear about his backstory, how he was a virgin until he was like 22 because he thought he was a fucking he thought he was going to go Ted Bundy on some bitches.
Yeah, he thought
in the middle
once
of
the barn
sex.
door opened, the mayor was going to be a sadistic serial killer, maybe. Like, that's...
Which, like, I don't know if you've met a whole lot of mayors, but depending on the mayor,
I mean, who
wrong.
knows? You know,
Right.
exactly. It's really roll of the dice out there. Yeah, and then he didn't have the language to talk about why he liked it, and so explaining that wanting to be called daddy had nothing to do with incest, and it has more to do with, like, the power imbalance, you know?
So I had some issues with the kink in this book, the way that the kink was played out, but one of the things that I did not have a single issue with was the discussion of how this is not incest. This is not, I don't want to fuck with, like, this is not trauma related. This is not like any of those things. This is just a thing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that I like in bed. And that's okay.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So he's over the moon, right? He ends up coming in her mouth and she loves it. And then he, like, you know, he collapses back onto the bed and she thinks to herself, oh no, maybe he's not my unicorn perfect sex man, because this has happened to me before. And like, once they come, they don't care about doing sex anymore. And I'm over here not coming still. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, come up here. And so she crawls up him and she ends up straddling him. And he puts his fingers, like, through her wetness. And he's like, I'm going to make you come like this, okay? And she's like, oh, my God, the confidence.
On by him being not, I'm going to try, not, we're going to, like, I'm going to touch it. No, I'm going to make you come. She's like, oh, my God, there is no doubt in this man's mind that he's about to make me come.
Right. And that would be a miracle on its own. But the fact that he just, like, knows it's going to happen is very hot. And then he says, as if it's, like, this marvel, he's like, oh, my God, I'm getting hard again. She's like, it's weird that a 20-year-old, I thought they, like, really sprang back quickly. But, like, maybe not with this guy. That's fine. And so she's like, well, then, do you want to have sex now?
Hey, Melody.
Yeah.
Do you think in this situation you would not immediately clock, even in the dark, that this is not the 20-year-old rugby player?
I went through this
and this
a
is
few
in
different
fact,
times.
This is in fact your boss. Because, like, I flip back and forth between it. Because, like, in the dark, in this situation, his voice is going to be raspy because he woke up out of a dead sleep into a blowjob.
But, and I tried to figure out, like, how drunk is she still, you know?
Well, because she tells him that she's stone cold sober at this point. She's like, I'm sober. Or maybe not stone cold, but she's like, no, I'm not blackout. Like, I'm not drunk. Yeah, I'm not crazy drunk.
I'm not blackout anymore. No, but I mean, like, there's no doubt that she's still at least tipsy, right? Like, she is impacted by the substance still. Yes. But it's just that, you know, she's not a floppy fish over his shoulder anymore is really the deal. Mm-hmm. And so when I try to, like, add all those things up and think to myself, like, she can't really even remember Rugby Boy that well because he approached her, like, mid getting to blackout territory.
I fully thought he had roofied her until we found out that this was an interaction of alcohol and Ritalin. I fully thought that he had roofied her, and I was glad.
Yeah. I was like, jail for Rugby Boy. Yeah. Well, and Ty thinks so too. Mr. Henderson thinks so too. He's like, the fuck did you do to her? And he's like, I don't even know where I would get that stuff. Like, no, I don't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just like a skeeve with webcams. Right? Like, that's all I am.
I may be party to a crime, but the crime that you are accusing me of is not.
That's right. It's not that one. Thank you so much.
My high horse is that I don't roofie women. I just filmed them without their consent.
I might rape in other ways, but it's not with roofies, okay?
Oh, man. It's
so good. Anyway, so I go back and forth because I try to remind myself that she is altered. But, like, you know how somebody smells, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, I know there's when you're up that close, maybe because they stayed away from each other in the office, but, like, you know a person's build.
I think that if I went into this and everything played out this exact way, I would also have no idea this was my boss. But I think the thing that I wouldn't get to this point without having asked some questions. This is just a couldn't be me situation. And so the whole thing just flabbergasts me. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I finally ended up on, if I did not do what I would usually do, which is
talk to the person. Yeah. Or, like, wait till the morning.
Frankly, I would have left. I would have gotten the fuck out. Even if that, what do you mean that's my room? I don't give a shit. I'm gone. Like, I'm out.
Where are you going? Are you getting a new hotel room at the front desk?
I don't know, but I'm not going to be in that room. That's your room now. I hope you enjoy banana skirts. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
out.
I don't
I'm done.
think I would absolutely wake them up and kick them out.
Oh, no.
That
No.
is definitely something
Nope.
I would have done
That's your room now.
in my slutty days.
Nope.
It's just like, look, we either did what we came for or we didn't. But like, this isn't your space. This is why I brought you back here.
So I used to take people home to my house and then I would go sleep on the couch because I wouldn't know how to get rid of, like, I know that the answer is just kick them out. I would just go live my life and hope that they left before I had to leave for class.
What?
Yeah, no, I didn't kick people out of I liked going to their houses instead because it meant that I could just leave.
No, totally. You could Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
No worries. You're just a puff of smoke.
When I brought them back to my house, they were in my home until they decided they were no longer in my home.
Oh my gosh.
Which luckily, they usually like woke up, realized, oh, I'm still here. I gotta go. And I'm like, okay, goodbye.
Oh, have a great day. No, meanwhile, I would like roll over and depending on the interaction the night before, I would either be like, pancakes? Or I would be like, so do you need me to call you an Uber? Or like, do you live close enough that you can walk? Like, what's the situation here? And then I would fully start the conversation of get the fuck out of my house in a very polite
I love
way.
that. I think nowadays I would have no problem being like, get the fuck out of my house. But young Sabrina, nope, this is
Wow.
your space.
Wow.
What do you have in your
Anyway.
What do you have in your freezer? What do you have to make? What do you have to cook in your house now? So, what do you have in your freezer? What are
Do you want to like get the lay of the land? Because you own this space now.
Yeah, this is yours now. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, she's like, do you want to have sex? And he's like, yeah, okay, but you're going to have to like really do some work down there with your mouth again to like really get me ready. And then like he's going to grab the condom. And then he starts dirty talking her again.
And he calls her
says,
Middleton.
He says, I'm going to fuck you so good, Middleton. And she like starts getting this weird sense up the back of her neck. And she's like, oh, wait, why is that wrong? Like, it seems fine because I remember telling Rugby Boy about the nickname, but like really only people at work call me that. And he's filled out a lot more than maybe a 20-year-old would be. And the raspy voice does seem incredibly natural instead of being put on. And then she realizes what she has done. And she crab walks back and she starts going, ah!
Mr. Henderson?
Mr. Henderson, it's me, it's Kate. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah?
And she's like, we're hooking up.
I just sucked your dick.
I swallowed, she says. And it says in the text, like, I really wish I hadn't put such an emphasis on the word swallowed. And he's like, and so it's just like crickets in the dark.
Hey, Melody, have you started your I've never felt more seen counter for fiscal year 2026 yet? Because, like, I hope you're ready for it because this episode is going to have quite a few I've never felt more scenes.
I know.
I would absolutely, same girl.
I would have word vomited some nonsense in this situation. Yeah, this is almost verbatim. I feel like what I would have said. Like, hey, it's me, right? You don't know that, right? And so it's crickets on his end. And then she's like, why are you in my room? And he's like, this is my room. It's like, oh.
You crawled into my bed.
And she's like, oh. And then he goes, get up, get dressed. We'll never speak of this again. And so she does. She's like, I'll see you at our work meeting tomorrow, boss.
Oh, my God. Great.
And then he has the most hilarious pubescent night. Like he has his own awakening that night because she ends up leaving her bra. So he gets up to be like, well, I guess I'm going to like, I don't know, shower or something. Like, I don't know what to do. But then he sees her bra.
She literally realizes she doesn't have her bra on because at this point she's like she tried to sex herself up a little bit in the bathroom before. How did you not realize your toiletries weren't everywhere, my girl?
Right.
So then she's
still drunk.
On her way out though, she's like, I'll just sacrifice my bra to this evening.
Yeah. I would do that. I would sure not go back for my bra. Like, come on.
That's saying some shit because like bazunga bras are not cheap depending on the bra, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so then he's like extra hungover the next day, but it's not because of lack of sleep. It's not because of alcohol, really. It's because he spent the rest of the night furiously coming into her bra.
And like on the bed, humping pillows,
and over again.
My good man. Okay. All right. That's how you spent your evening.
So fair enough.
And then he's so fucking annoyed because she shows up the next morning at the seminar presentation thingamabob, and she just looks
totally unfazed.
She's a little bit late, and it's not because she was exhausted. It's because she went to the better coffee shop across the street.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck?
She doesn't even have that gall to be like sheepish about it at all. He tries to be like, oi, like quit chatting over there, you two. And the guy she's talking to apologizes, but Kate just like gets out her notebook and she's just like, no problem. I'm over here.
No. Oh, yeah. Right. When does the young professor come in? Oh, okay.
The young professor does his talk on like solar panels or whatever. And Ty notices Kate has now like moved to a different part of the auditorium. And then when he looks back over there after the talk, Professor is sitting next to Kate, and they're like flirty. They're a little flirty McFlirtsons with each other. Uh-huh. And he can tell that she's like giggling in a way that he usually doesn't see, hasn't seen before, doesn't love. And he's like, I'm going to go tell Middleton that she really needs to like keep her shit together at a work trip.
The guy from his job who's sitting next to him is like, hi, we're chatting right now.
Yeah. What the fuck? Like, and he's like, never you mind. Here I go. And so he goes over like, there.
Middleton, we need to talk. And she's like, okay. And young professor dude is like, hi, it's nice to meet you. And he's like, go, Middleton. Go into the conference room that's set aside for us big wigs to make important cell phone calls and meetings.
Business deals.
So she goes in. He follows her. Grouchy as all hell.
Which she loves.
Oh, yeah, of course she's into it.
Yeah.
She's a little bratty. She's a little bit of a, what is it? What's your term, Melody? A bratty little princess sub-slut? Subby slut?
Yeah, bratty little princess sub.
Something like that. And that's her. She's that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, so like, why'd you bring me in here? And he's like, this could never happen again.
No. False. He says, are we going to talk about this thing? And she's like, I don't really think it's super necessary.
Do we have to?
Yeah. And he's like, well, shouldn't we talk about it and like see if maybe we can replicate it in some way?
Whoa. He's like, we can't do this. In his head, he's like, I want to. But he says to her, we're not doing this again. And she's like, are you sure?
Oh,
Daddy?
That's right.
And she is pushing his buttons until he goes grumpy stomping up to her and just steps between her legs and like launches her onto this table, steps between her legs, and then just attacks her face with his face.
Yeah, because she's like, we didn't kiss last night. I bet it's because you're a bad kisser. And then he's like, nice try, Middleton, trying to rile up a grown-ass man like that. And then he gets to the door and she's like, I guess I'll just give him my number and see if that little professor boy's a good kisser. And that's when he turns around and he's like, oh, not on my watch.
And then they have like a hot makeout times and they're about to like, he's unbuttoning her pants. Oh, she's wearing pants instead of a dress for the first time in like ever. And he's unbuttoning those pants and then the roar of applause, which means that the presentation is over. And they're like, oh my, he comes back to his senses because he went just full instinct on this. He went
feral.
His his thinking brain was not on board. It gave up the ghost. He was on autopilot. And he's like, oh my God, I cannot believe we're about to do this. She is so fucking horny and turned on. By the way, at one point he had made the comment the night before when she was touching her clit herself, he was like, you don't get to touch that anymore. I own this pussy.
You don't touch what's mine.
And then she hasn't been able to touch herself since then.
Yeah, and so he's like, oh, are you a little riled up because I didn't finish you off last night? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, why didn't you just touch yourself when you got back to your hotel room? And she like looks down at the floor and it like dawns on him and he fucking loves it that it's because he told her that that's his and she doesn't touch what's his. And he's like, Middleton, you know that like that's not even real, but he loves the fact that she did it. And everybody's confused. Nobody has any idea what to do. And everybody's conflicted. She is by far less conflicted because she's like, look, what if we just did it one time? You know, just like get it out of our systems. She tries to do that. And he says like, no, I don't think I could live if I got all of my fantasies. He's thinking this, not saying it. But he's like, I don't think I could go on if I got all of my fantasies fulfilled and then just stopped it.
Of note, listener, Melody mentioned that he is saying all of that in his head. Let's just set the stage now that Ty does not share a single thing that is going on in his head at any point.
Never.
In this entire book until like 87%.
Something like that. Yeah, that's roughly when it happened.
During the grovel.
They break up at one point, and I didn't know that they had actually broken up on both sides. Like, I really thought that she was just making things up in her head. Because none of that seemed like a breakup interaction to me.
Which part?
Right before he goes on the trip.
Oh. Okay.
None of it seemed like a for sure breakup.
I want to discuss that somewhat in depth, so let's just wait until we get there.
Absolutely.
Okay. So they're done now. He's like, yeah, we're not doing this again. And now begins her
campaign.
She buys a whole new wardrobe, a whole month's paycheck, which like, I don't know how much she makes, but like...
She's a civil engineer.
I know. And so like, I was thinking of like, that's comparable. Like, I was like, yeah, that's a lot of fucking money on clothes in 1 month. Like, I mean, not if you're going to like fancy places, but if you're going to like Kohl's or something, like that's a lot. Anyway, so
even like, I don't know, Express or I don't know, like other mid-20s quasi-business places, you know?
You don't think she's going to Forever 21 for her brand new sexy business attire?
No, I think that's where she went before.
Claire's?
She went. Where else is she going to get her fucking banana skirts? Like boho dresses or whatever the fuck she wears.
Those are... Yeah. If you think those are from anywhere but some like chic indie hipster place, those are not going to be purchased at Express.
No, I'm saying Forever 21 is banana skirts. Yeah. I'm just saying like off the wall kind of office attire would be more youthful. Of a Forever 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
you're right.
She's at H&M.
Transition. She's at Australian H&M is where she is. So she has started this campaign. Now she's got pencil skirts. Now she's got like dark ruby colors and all of these things. And she's like...
She keeps on going to the copy machine across from his office so she can bend over for no reason. She keeps on like trying to fix it when it's totally functional.
So we've met her at this point, but this is when we really interact with Maria. So Maria is basically her derby mom. She met Maria. Maria is a bisexual dom married to her wonderful husband, Brennan, and she is basically her fairy godmother, kind of, except we find out later that Maria's like weird. Has some weird stuff going on. Like, yeah, like mentor stuff. It's a whole thing. And I could see how this would, like, I can't relate, but this tracked as a character thing.
Sure.
So she goes to talk
telling
to Maria
everything. Yeah.
And Maria is like, she keeps ping-ponging during this entire story back and forth and then finally settles on, what the fuck are you doing? Because you accidentally went down on your boss, but then he made it clear it's not happening again, but then he's giving mixed signals and things like that. But like, you need to just not like, if you want something with this man, You just need to be forthright about it. You need to
Very
lay down your
direct.
cards and yada yada. She's like, okay, fine, I will do that. And it's so funny at one point,
But
though,
it's very
'cause-
clear that Maria's not happy about it.
yes, but it's also so funny because she's like, Maria's like, are you actually gonna do that? And she's like, yeah. And Maria was like, would you have listened to me if I said you should just leave it alone and never ever do any of this ever again and just pretend that none of it ever happened? And or would you continue
would
this
you keep on
campaign of
doing-
terror?
Yeah.
And
She's like, well,
I would. It'd probably be the
Yeah.
second one.
I would
if I'm
think about
honest.
stop listening. Okay. If they think about it for a minute. But yeah, I probably
would debate. Maybe. So she writes a little note. She has bucked up all of her courage, and she's written this note that's like, "Hey, buddy, I'm interested. Here's my
Do you
kink
want to
world
sex
profile."
me? Yes, no. No, that's not what she does.
She explicitly states that is not what she does, because she's like, I am not, for once in my life, going to do something like, I'm not actually a little girl in elementary school.
Yeah, I'm not a juvenile, right?
Even though I do feel a little bit like one, because I am writing him a little note.
Actually,
that's
that was
like,
his reaction. His reaction was, oh God, please let it not be, do you have a crush on me? Yes, no. Because it would just be too much for him. But anyway, yeah, what she does is like, hey, I think we're really compatible in the sack. If you want to explore that more, because I definitely do, like, here's my kink world profile, read up on it, and then let me know.
yes.
And when she gets in there, her plan is just to put the note on his desk and then like sashay away.
Listener,
Swish swoosh with her hips.
She fucks this up so fucking hard, because she goes in and he's like, all she can see is the top of his head over his screen. And then she goes,
She says,
Hey.
how is just the top of his head so intimidating?
and then instead of going in, she had a whole plan. She was going to go in, be like, leave the note, and then walk out.
And she freezes at the door. And then she just hears him go, Middleton, what's going on?
And she goes, it's against company policy to drink in the office.
And he's like, that's what you came all the way over here after hours to tell
What?
me?
And she's like,
She's like, yeah, we can't have booze at the company barbecues, so probably not here either, boss. And he's like, and so he gets up and he comes around and he's like, so this has nothing to do with your campaign of slutty sexiness all over the office since our trip. And she's like, what? No, what? And he's like, take off that brand new skirt.
no, this is very important. He says,
Please.
you went from being the office sweetheart to the girl everyone pictures getting dressed in the morning. If I broke up one conversation about your legs, I did it 1,000,000 times. Wasn't enjoyable. Wasn't fun watching every other fucker in this office pant after you. I didn't appreciate it one bit. Don't appreciate much of anything you've done since I told you weren't getting my cock. So here's what I'm thinking. He wrapped a knuckle on the desk that sounds sharp as a starter's pistol. Take off that ridiculous skirt, lie your ass across my lap, and we'll see what I can teach you about obeying orders. And silence, except for the guitar music swelling from Ty's computer. Mind you, isn't he listening to, like, the blues? Yeah. I love
very
the
hot.
idea. I love the
very
idea
hot.
of this being the background to this scene. I could, like, see it, hear it. And then she says, wouldn't we get in trouble? And he says, if we got caught, but seeing as you've done everything but hire a skywriter to spell fuck me Tyler Henderson in the clouds, I assume you're willing to take that risk. Now lose the skirt and come lie on daddy's lap. And she's like, oh my God. And then
She immediately starts unzipping.
She unzips, takes off the skirt, and he sees her underwear, and he says, you little prick tease. And then he says, Middleton, come and get spanked before I decide I'm better off tying you to my desk and doing things to you that'll make you wish you never had the guts to come in here. And she's like, she's kind of into it, but kind of like, what the fuck is
sensory overload.
happening? Like, what's
Yeah.
that? Oh my God. And then Ty stood up, reacquainting her with how tall he was, how handsome and insanely intimidating. He pointed at his desk. I'm done watching you quiver on my carpet like a scared rabbit. Bend over the desk right now. What are you going to do? what I wanted to do the minute I met you. And then I was so proud of her.
Same.
Because she's like, no.
Wait.
No. This is not what's happening. We're not doing this at the office. We're not turning this into this like skeezy whatever thing. We are going to we're going to make this a thing. And I'm going to
negotiate this in advance.
Yes. She says, actually, I have a note for you. And he's like, it totally takes him out of his intenseness. He's like, you what? What? Pardon? Mind you, listener, she's in nothing but her underwear and a shirt right now. And he's like,
a silky shirt.
Okay. And so she walks up and she gives him the note. And then she turns around to go put her and gets her skirt back on. And he's like, oh my fucking God. Could you just could you stop? I need you to not be the sexiest thing on two legs for half a second, because I'm holding on by a fucking thread right now.
Uh-huh. And she's like, okay, bye, Mr. Henderson. And sashays away. She finally does the thing she came to do.
He opens this note, and then this had me fucking cackling.
Because also he's drunk, FYI. That's one of the reasons that she put a stop to everything, because he is drunk at the office. So his backstory really quickly is that he had this relationship, and he ended up proposing, but one of the sticking points is that he just assumed that she didn't want kids like he didn't want kids, but it turns out that she really did want to have kids. And so they tried to make it work, and then after a while
pretended that wasn't a thing, because it would become an issue between them, and then they would fight about it, and then it would it was toxic, it was shitty, it was terrible on both of their parts.
Of course. So she says yes to the proposal. Yeah. But then she gets close to one of her coworkers because he also wants kids. That turns into a cheating relationship. His best friend catches the girlfriend doing this, being sneaky around town. And then when Tyler confronts her, her name's Veronica. Veronica ends up dumping him. And within 6 months, she is married to this other guy and pregnant.
And his house
devastated.
Is still a shrine to her. It's been a couple of years now.
I thought that too. But
it's not actually a shrine, but he's not gotten rid of. He hasn't gotten rid of all of the things that reminds, the changes she made to the house, those are still there. So it's not actually a shrine to her, because we see at one point, he's like, oh, I'm actually over this woman. I am not pining over her the way that I was, but I also haven't done anything to make my house mine again.
Right.
And it's just a shitty reminder. And so he sleeps in his office someday. He just gets drunk at the office and sleeps on his couch. Mm-hmm. So, I guess you have a nice couch in your office, but you're going to sleep on this couch, but not the hotel couch?
Well, not to mention, at one point, I don't think it's now, I think it's later on when he's, actually heartbroken, but he says, I have a ribeye defrosting on my counter. And instead of going home, he spends 2 nights elsewhere. What?
I didn't clock that at all.
Is happening? I was not okay with it. I was like, first of all, somebody died for that, okay? Don't waste that good red meat. But then second of all, you're just going to go home to your Australian house in the middle of whenever, fucking summer probably, to a ribeye that's just been sitting out on the counter for 48 hours plus? Ty, these are the choices you're making?
Does he eat it when he gets home?
No, but it's got to stink to high heaven.
I feel like it would be. There's no way that they live in Melbourne. There is no way he doesn't have AC out the wazoo in this house. They also live by. They make multiple comments about how he lives right next to the beach, so he's probably got that beachy breeze, you know.
Okay, yeah. Anyway,
there's nothing that makes this better. I'm trying to make it better. There's a lot
of choices that are being made. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he reads it and then he's like, okay, I'm going to drunk read her whole Kink World profile. And he does. And it's a dream come fucking true.
I need you to understand, as he's reading this profile, it'll be read profile, and then he's like talking to himself, and then read profile, and then talking to himself. And it was so, I was laughing out loud because like at one point she makes some comment. He's like, yeah, you would.
I can make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound like you. And like, he's just, it was very funny. It was very entertaining. And then he's like, okay, all right. So I also.
Wait. So this is one of the other things that I really enjoyed about this book and this interaction. Okay. Because as he reads through her profile, first of all, he's marveling at how these days people can be like out loud and proud.
Fucking people who knew they weren't alone. 8 million people free to date perverts who found their needs not only tolerable, but hot? Jesus fucking Christ. When Ty was 25, so much as hinting at his desires on a first date would have resulted in a face full of wine and a suggestion he get sterilized. Now, people were free to wave their freak flags from the turrets of websites like these. He thought of all the young men like him who, instead of stashing niche pornography and staying virgins out of fear, would grow up having interesting sex with girls who wanted what they had to give. And it's basically him realizing, like, this is a whole new ball game. And, like, what I like, the yearning for
all that wasted time, all that time he could have been just being himself. Not to mention that just for listener, when he says niche pornography, what he means is longhand porn narratives that he writes on lined yellow paper, like legal paper.
And then hides in his guitar case. I was so delighted. Like, how endearing. Oh,
it was so cute. Yeah.
Ty.
Well, but then this is the other thing that I think is important for this book in particular, because Ty has ostensibly all of the power in their relationship, not just because he's older or whatever, but it's also because she's all in on him, and like whatever he wants to give, she will take, right? Like, she would have a relationship with him. It's him always like putting the brakes or like, you know, avoiding the subject or whatever. So in those two ways, he has the upper hand in their relationship. But in this scene, I thought it was really, really important and cool that they establish that she has the upper hand when it comes to kink and understanding herself and being able to articulate where these things come from or don't, or what they're related to or not, and how well established she is in her knowledge of her wants and needs and kinks and all those things. And it's because she has grown up in this era where it is more talked about. There is the internet that you can go and explore and learn. She goes to therapy because she thinks she's like aberrant at one point. And at 25, she is much, much, much more comfortable with her sexuality and her wants and all of that than he is. And in that way, I think the power imbalance is cool.
Yes, I agree. And so specifically her kink interest, this is from earlier in the book. This is when she still thought he was rugby boy, all of those things. And this is during that sexual encounter. She's thinking to herself, sexually inexperienced as she might be, Kate was and always had been kinkier than a bag of zigzags. It felt like she'd been born that way, craving things she didn't understand way before she reached sexual maturity. The dad in Taken had a particular set of skills. She had a particular set of fantasies. Unlike her, they weren't polite, they weren't nice, and they didn't leave when they were asked. Yeah. Instead, they dominated her romantic desire so fully she couldn't have an orgasm with thinking about spanking or date a nice vanilla bank manager called Paul. Her fantasy steered her full force toward men like Tyler Henderson, near mythical embodiments of male authority who, surprise, surprise, weren't the slightest bit interested in having very depraved sex with her.
I love
her
the voice
effort
in this
to
whole
rid
book.
herself of this handicap, Kate had tried celibacy, therapy, self-loathing, and prayer. It was no use. Her kinks were like that weirdly sinister kindergarten rhyme about the teddy bear picnic and the thick, dark mud that deterred attendees. Her kinks chanted in her ear, you go under it, you can't go over it, you have to go through it. So she went through it. Not as proudly as she liked, but she went through it. She had an account on a kinky personals website, even though the only messages she ever got were from nutcases and couples looking to have a threesome. She went on dates with nice, attractive guys, and when the time came for them to go to bed, she told them what she liked, even though it usually resulted in bad foreplay, followed by a ghosting. She understood where they were coming from. That she wanted a man to smile with pleasure as he caused her pain was weird to her, too. So she is aware that this is not normal, or it's not average, as far it's not vanilla, but she is confident in this being what she wants. And she's already done all of the work. Like, she makes comments throughout the book about, like, some of your kinks might be informed by past traumas.
Right.
But correlation is not causation, right?
Right. Well, and she has no dad trauma whatsoever, other than the fact that like he was kind of neglectful.
Hang on. That is one of my, I was like, my girl, you are sitting here to my face telling me that you do not have daddy issues. And then reading the book and hearing you talk, you have daddy, mommy, sister, brother, aunt, uncle.
It's all
you
of
have
them.
just family issues, period. Like, this is, again, correlation does not equal causation, but like, you are telling us about your first crush as a youth, who was your friend's father, who was the first authority male in your life, who treated you kindly. This was your only friend growing up, because apparently nobody wanted to be your friend because you were weird, and they clocked that. This was one of the things I was like, is this an ADHD thing? Because she doesn't have friends because everyone clocked that she's a fucking weirdo because of her ADHD. She's
at one point somebody calls her a spastic or something like that.
Yeah.
And it
was just interesting.
This is one of those times when I looked at it and I was like, I can't see myself in here, you know?
So I could, but I don't know that I would clock that, like the challenge with having friends as a younger person. I don't know that I would attribute that to necessarily ADHD, but maybe she has a different flavor. Maybe
That's what
it
I'm
presents
saying.
differently.
She does say out loud, it doesn't really, it never really manifests in the book, I think partially because she's medicated. Now, maybe. But she says that she has like the hyperactive version of ADHD. And that's less common in girls than it is in boys. Or we also get so heavily conditioned to not be like that and like to take up less space and to, you know, be in the background or whatever.
So you mask so hard that...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have like the daydreamy form of ADHD. I have like the inattentive, I think, form of it, more than the hyperactive. And a lot of times hyperactive in women will manifest just internally. It's that your brain never stops running. It's not necessarily that your body is like, you know, bouncing off the walls. So anyway, yeah, she had a really hard time. And later on in the book, she does say that like she doesn't necessarily think it has anything to do with like specific daddy issues or anything like that. Like it absolutely is not sexual trauma that she is like working through with her kink. That's what I meant when I said like daddy issues in that way.
Yes. And I would agree with that because she doesn't have any of that either. But having a person of authority in your life.
Well, and she says, I think it really has to do with being the sole focus of that authority figure. Having, like, in that fantasy, you are their world.
Yes.
That's the part of the kink that really gets her off. Yeah, like,
that
I'm not
resonates.
throwing stones.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She is very much like, it is daddy-daughter, but it struck me a lot as it was very much caretaker. She wants somebody to caretake her, which
in every way. That means guiding her. That means correcting her, like, because she likes the spankings. She likes things like that. And the other part of her kink that becomes important and meshes with ties is that she really loves the idea of starting innocent and then being corrupted. That's one thing that, like, really grinds her gears. And I don't think, like, the way that I read it, at least, what? Is grind her gears a bad thing?
Yeah. Grinds my gears would be like a pet peeve as far as Did you just caught cat on a hot tin roof?
I think I might have.
Grinding?
Yeah, I think I did.
Did you just foie gras?
Cat on a...
Ear grinding?
I think I might have.
Okay, because you really said it and I was like...
Lubricates her engine. What does it do?
Lubes her pistons. Let's go, baby.
No, I mean, I don't know.
No, I like that. I kind of like that, though.
It really pushes her buttons, but that could be good or bad,
also
right?
No, that's negative.
It pushes her buttons can't be a good? You can't push a go button?
As far as I'm aware, I most often hear pushes your buttons
in a bad way, for sure.
Yes, because specifically, my therapist likes to say they know how to push your buttons because they installed them to me a lot. And I'm like, well, fuck you too, buddy. How fucking dare you bring that into this mental health session space that I pay you for?
Right.
To say the quiet things out loud to me.
Okay, so what does it do? It
lubes her pistons. That's our new term. It lubes her pistons to
heats her oven. It butters her bread. Huh?
Isn't it butters her toast?
No, I think it can be either way. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be hot
butter
bread.
On bread.
Yeah, people do that. I don't, but people do.
Cold, untoasted, soft, untoasted. Okay, all right. Hey, you know what? Let your bready freak flag fly.
That is my Spanish teacher, when I was in high school, told this story about how she went to Mexico, and didn't speak the language at that point. Went into a restaurant, and she ordered the most complicated sounding thing on the menu, and it came out as butter on bread. It's like pan y mantequilla or something like that, because that's what butter is. And so, yeah, people just put butter on bread. Why do you think that, like, you get the Italian rolls or whatever, you get the Italian bread, and then there's butter on the side?
I'm so sorry. I was imagining just plain, like, white bread. Like, just a plain loaf of white bread.
I mean, for the record, I think people do that too sometimes, but
I'm not thinking
of butter on saltines.
You're right. All of this is correct.
It doesn't have to be hot bread.
It was
Sabrina.
The one very specific type of bread that I was imagining in my head, as if this is and you know what it is it's the bread that I think of, that I associate with butters your toast. Like,
sure.
It was a very specific
I'm over here
thing.
twitching, Sabrina, because you can come for me. Like, I will take it when you come for me on aphorisms that are wrong, but that one's goddamn correct.
No, I love slicing a baguette and just putting butter on it. It's fine. Like, I get it.
Fucking bread.
I'm wrong, Melody. Is that what you want me to say? I'm fucking wrong, okay?
Sabrina, it sounds like this grinds your gears and or pushes your buttons.
And you didn't even install this one.
No, I didn't.
Nobody did. I installed this one badly. I DIY'd this shit off YouTube, and now I have to call a fucking brain plumber. I'm sorry, okay? God
no,
damn it.
I hear you. It is weird thinking about just like a piece of Wonder Bread that has butter on it.
It does.
Is weird.
It is weird. Okay,
that should be toast.
I'm glad that
I hear you.
Okay. I feel better.
Okay,
Continue.
good. Me too. Anyway, yeah, she likes the corruption factor. And so he reads all of this, and then he sends her one message, and it just says, Middleton, basically like, I'm down, but here are my rules. I make the choices. you follow my rules. Like, I get to correct you, and like, if all of this sounds good, then write me back and we'll set it up.
I was fascinated that at the end of that message, he actively makes the statement, I almost signed it Ty, but that felt weird, so I changed it to your boss.
Your boss is more appropriate?
Your boss feels
on the Kink World website?
Whether or not it's appropriate,
I mean,
that
I guess
feels
it pushes
less
the kink.
weird to you?
Yeah. Than Ty?
Tyler Henderson, I do not fathom you.
It's a labyrinth in there, Sabrina.
It really is. So
yeah.
They end up like going back and forth on Kink World. This happens off page because now we zippy zap. Zach is in the corner watching her dressed in an outfit. He had said like wear something
a leotard.
Young. Oh my God, this leads to one of my most favorite things. This is one of my favorite things about the kink in this book. So
when they break break character, I loved it too.
Yes, because
I loved it so much.
So she's wearing this outfit and he walks in and
he's meant to be her stepfather.
She doesn't even realize this, and this is why you need to be comfortable talking to your kink, like your partner in kink, because you will think this is what I want. Yeah. But then it modifies, it changes a little bit as you actually experience it, right? Like you might enjoy watching it, you might enjoy reading it, but then you actually try it and you're like, actually, that's not like what I thought I wanted out of this in real life. Actually, I'm leaning more towards this. I like this or don't like this, but like this is what I actually want out of it.
Yeah, I've found the thread I want to pull out of this.
Exactly. And so she's into this. He is being her stepdad. He is fucking skeezy as shit. And I loved that when you're reading the book, listener, we're in her point of view. And at first she's very, very aware that this is role play. She's putting on an act, all of these things. And then you see her the scene itself, the writing itself changes from her pretending to be 17-year-old stepdaughter, him skeezy stepdad. And then the writing of the scene changes to where it is those two characters.
It becomes immersive.
It was so well written.
Yeah. And I love the amount of time that she took with it. Because it's like 8 pages of them sitting on the couch watching TV with her like sinking into this role as he like talks about her fictional mom and like how he never sees her or whatever and like how he has needs and like have you kissed a boy and like all this stuff, right?
I think it might be my favorite kinky role play that I've read. And I've read a decent amount, but it was not jarring. There was never any point where you get dropped into it. Like it wasn't until I reread the scene because at the end of it, I was like, when they broke, I broke. I was like, oh, fuck. I forgot that like these are 2 different characters. It was so well done because then they're in this fucking scene and it's so freaking cute. Because they're at the point where he's like ripping her clothes. That's why he's whatever. And he rips her fucking skirt off of her. And then
he already has the top of her leotard under her boobs. He's been doing some boob play.
And then he says, you could do with less fucking clothes. Then he frowned, his fingers tracing the crushed velvet covering her stomach. What's this? Leotard? Kate asked, a little confused. I thought it was a top, he said, sounding much more like her boss than her fake perv stepdad. Girl clothes are so fucking wild. And then he like is petting it because he's just so like, what is happening? And it tickles her. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to tickle you. And the wide-eyed horror on his face was such a strange contrast to what they'd been doing. Kate couldn't help but giggle. It's okay. You just surprised me. Ty gave her a rueful smile. I had no idea it was a one piece. I'm sorry, I should have chosen something more practical. No, I like it, he said quickly. I just wish I'd known it was tugging on your pussy this whole time. If I'd known, I could have done a lot more with it. She flushed, very aware she was half naked and lying beneath him. You still could.
Yeah.
When you go red like that, it goes all the way down to your tits, Ty said conversationally. Then before she could die of mortification added, I want to keep going. You?
Do you?
Yes, please. Good. Bent down and kissed her again, fast and businesslike, an agreement
Businesslike.
between equals. It warmed some part of her she hadn't known needed warning. Didn't needed warming. She didn't have long to enjoy it. Ty seized a fistful of the material at her stomach and pulled it tight. Just because a scene breaks doesn't mean you can't go back into it. And
Absolutely.
like this whole that break was so well done, where it was like he didn't intend to come out of the scene, but he was just surprised.
Yeah.
And then they like chatted for a second, and it's like, do you want to go back? Yeah, let's do it. And then there was like, okay, like shake hands, except this is a kiss. And then we're back in. And it does.
And I loved it from a kink perspective as well, like experiencing the kink, because it happens, I feel like, at a moment where, especially if you're not familiar with this kink in particular or whatever, there's a really good chance that the reader is feeling super uncomfortable, because it is that, like, you've got that squicky feeling of like, I shouldn't be into this, and like I feel really bad about being into it. And because it's the stepdad, like he's starting to get like forceful instead of coercive in that moment. And she's starting, because in their messages, they establish that Ty's like, how do you feel about like consensual non-consent? Essentially,
it's very blackmail-y in some ways. Like he's like, I'll tell your mom. Like what?
Well,
like
but then
who do you think she's gonna believe?
Like, get under me, and like I'm going to fuck you regardless of what you say. Like, don't fight me. It's gonna happen, basically. And it's so cool to then pop out of it and remember that these are two consenting absolute adults. They're equals. They are playing. Like, to be reminded of that and then get straight back into like the squicky sexiness was so it's fucking masterful is what it is.
It's a really good. The kink in this book is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like phenomenally
really
handled.
good. Really, really good. And then they break one more time because they are having sex missionary, and he can see that like something's wrong. She started crying earlier, and his face didn't change. It was still like the mean stepdad, you know? And he was like, he keeps going. But then there's something about the way she's crying now that's somehow different. And he stops and he's like, wait, Middleton, talk to me. What's going on? He's still inside her. And she's like, nothing, I want to keep going. And he's like, no, we can keep going, but after you talk to me about whatever's happening.
And she tells him, like, I keep almost getting to orgasm, and then it won't happen. Like, it's not getting there. And
you're going to get bored. You're going to think that I'm, like, broken. Because she's never had an orgasm with another person. Still, even with him. When they hooked up the first time, she figured out who he was and all of that before she climaxed. And so he says, is like,
just relax. Relax and feel me. Feel what I'm doing to you. Don't think about me. I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing. Just concentrate on your body, on how I feel inside you. And she says, but what if I take too long? And he says, you won't. I could stay inside you all year and not get bored. Just take your time. And then they go back to it, and then she says, okay, Ty. And he says, yeah. And she says, kiss me? And he says,
of course I fucking can.
Of course I fucking can. And then he goes from dirty talking to like making out with her. And then she pulls back, and she's like finally hit the point where she says, I'm close. I think I'm gonna. And he starts touching on her more intently, a more specific kind of way that he's noticed she's liked. And he says, yeah, baby. And she says, I think I'm gonna come. And he says, good. He bent down and sank his teeth into her neck, his sweat slick hips pumping hard and fast. Come, Middleton. Come on, daddy's big dick. And then she implodes.
Detonates. Yeah.
It was so good. And then, when she was entirely wrung out, her head spinning, Ty withdrew. Okay? Kate gazed blearily up at him. So good. So good. I came. He grinned. I got that. You up for a little more? And then she nods and she's like, I'm about to be noodles. And then he pulls out, moves her around where he needs her to be, and then like slides back in doggy now. And then starts dirty talking again.
Is that okay?
He grabs her ponytail and she's like into it. And then he says, he's dirty talking her. And then he says, you like that, huh? Well, hold on, honey. This is going to be rough. And then he starts nailing her. And she's so into it. She's experiencing this post-glow orgasm for the very first time and then being fucked through it. And it is... It changes
and she's like,
her
I'm not
going to
be able to climax from this, but it's that elongated period of time where everything feels so good.
Yes. And like, it's sex without an orgasm necessarily as the
destination,
the end goal.
Right.
Yeah. Like granted, she's already come, but like, it's just sex for sex's sake as far as she's like, I'm just enjoying myself, because part of her kink is she wants to be used for her partner's pleasure. She wants to be her dom's little fuck toy. She just also wants to feel good while it happens. And boy,
everything delivers.
The sex in this book is great. It's
really great.
I could wax poetic about, I will say, just a heads up, listener, that, or I guess it's not a heads up, but like this scene is one of the issues that I have with people and like kink and stuff. I am very much a proponent of no kink on
substances,
drugs, drinking, like I don't know, I just BDSM with an intoxicant squicks me. So that was probably I like that was harder for me than the tabooness of like daddy daughter, like all of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Well,
it was interesting.
I mean, that's part of it too, that's part of why the breaks were so important, because there is that added flavor of like, okay, I have accepted this like daddy daughter sort of dynamic, right? But then he likes like the skeezy, like, let's coerce her, let's corrupt her. He's getting her drunk for what is the first time in this character's life. And at one point he's like feeding it to her, and she's like sort of being forced to swallow more than she normally would. And so there is also that component of like, I need to know that the person inside there is actually capable of consenting to what they want and saying no to what they don't want. And
like,
so those breaks were nice.
You're
because
already
role
role-playing. It's just you're already role-playing. Like, it could have been NA beer. I think the most baffling thing to me is when I realized he actually rode his motorcycle. This man is drinking beer and then gonna get on a fucking motorcycle? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Well,
I was like...
Right after this, there is an extended period where they, like, talk and he learns a lot more about her. And, like, this aunt who also was obviously, like, ADHD and not ever diagnosed or medicated or anything. And she was also the black sheep of, like, her generation. And they bonded really hard. And so Kate was left all of her stuff when the family thought that they were going to be able to divvy everything up and, like, actually have money for once.
Her family can jump off a fucking bridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Her family is
for real.
Fucking terrible.
That's my favorite part of the follow-up novella, is that we go from like her wanting her family's approval still, kind of, to her being like, sometimes I see them at Christmas, but other than that, they can go fuck themselves. I'm not wasting my energy on them. And I thought that was really cool and important and a good direction for this character to go particularly. But anyway, so they spend an extended period of time like talking, and I don't think they have dinner at this point, but the other thing that she really wants, and one thing that she's not really able to communicate on her Kink World profile or to him out loud, is that aftercare for her is tactile. And it needs to be like skin on skin, kind of snuggling and care and, you know, all the attention and the sweetness. That's what she wants from aftercare. But Ty...
So he's trying to, like, keep his distance from her, and his version of aftercare, because he's trying to keep his distance, is to, like, bug and a rug her, and she's like... Is
like,
this
aggressively burrito her in a blanket.
Just, like, at one point, she's thinking to herself, it's like the second, third, fourth, whatever time that they have sex, and she's like, I wonder if he has, like, a blanket kink or something, because, like, every single time he, like, snuggles the fuck out of me into a blankie.
He swaddles her, is what he does. He does. Like, really? That's what he does. So She has a little clitoris. She's a little blanket pussy. Yeah, she's
a little clitoris face.
She's a little confused clitoris at the top of that blanket vulva, is what she is. Well, and we find out that it's because Ty is feeling too much for the first time in his life. Like, a lot of his emotional and kinky and intellectual and all of these sides are coalescing with this person. And so the feelings he's having for her are more intense and more confusing. And he thinks that their age difference is so taboo. The places in their lives are so different. She would never want him because a nice girl like Middleton has to want kids. And so he's trying to keep his distance because he doesn't want to break his own heart, essentially, even though that's always the dumbest thing in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
And that's why he, like, won't stick around. He never spends the night when they play. He doesn't really touch her afterwards. But after all of this, they do have, like, a small scene again right before he leaves. So they play, like, one more time before he leaves as this stepdaughter-stepfather duo. And then he ends up going back home. So... we basically, like, whimsy through, like, a month or two of them playing consistently together. Meanwhile, she is, like, going to Derby, she's at work, and that was the other rule. The other rule was, unless it's work-related, we do not interact at the office at all. There will be no lunches, there are no, like, hallway chats, like, none of that, because neither of them want their bosses to know.
We're not friends.
No, they're not friends. They're not lovers. They are play partners, period, the end right now. And he's about to get sent. Oh, also, he's never taken off his clothes when they have sex. It's always just like cock out. That's where we're going to stop for today. We'll be back tomorrow for the rest of this daddy goodness. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you tomorrow.